Biggest mistake most preppers make. Water's free while it comes out of your faucet. Water's free. Fill containers. When storing any liquids, the bigger the volume, the cheaper the container costs. So all these guys worried about storing fuel in 5-gallon gas cans. It's great. I probably have, I'm probably close to 100 cans in 5-gallon cans, Jerry NATO cans, right? Everybody totally overthinks fuel storage. If you're putting it in good metal 5-gallon cans, they expand and they contract. They can't off gas. So you don't need to worry about all the bullshit, right? Everybody's so fucking worried about finding a nozzle that fits their gas can when you shouldn't be fucking around with a nozzle anyways. If it's a nozzle, it's somewhat rigid or it's going to kink if it's not. And you've got 5 gallons. So you have what, 35 gallons of weight that you have to move up over the pour spout, wherever it's at. You should be using a jiggler siphon. All of your problems go away. Past that, bulk fuel storage. You can get those 15-gallon drums for like Pepsi syrup and shit. They look like little 55-gallon drums. You could also use 55-gallon drums. Clean them out, let them dry, fill them with gasoline, and seal them up. Not a problem. But the 55-gallon ones, your wife can't move them. You are hard-pressed to move them. You can move them on a dolly, on a drum dolly, but you can't roll that on gravel. It's very difficult to move a 55-gallon drum of liquid, even with a really good dolly with big wheels on gravel. So smaller is easier to maneuver. Water's free when it comes out of your faucet. It already comes chlorinated. You don't need to do anything with it other than put it in a sealed container. Buy your calories, grow your protein, meaning grow chickens or rabbits. Rabbits are awesome. Chickens are awesome too. Chickens give you eggs almost immediately every day. Rabbits, you're going to grow them up. The rabbit poop is as valuable as the rabbit meat. Consider it meat on the hoof. So even if you're not using it, you always have it if you need it, if you continue to breed them. You can feed both rabbit and chicken to dogs. You can feed them whole animal, raw. A lot of people have this perception that you can't give chicken bones to dogs and cats, and that's cooked chicken bones you can't. You can give them raw and they will eat it. But buy your calories, right? Rice is super cheap. Even though it's twice as much as it was a few years ago, it's still super cheap. If you had to go buy a 50-pound bag of rice, you're going to be hard-pressed a lot of places to find a 50-pound bag of rice. I was at Sam's Club yesterday, and they had maybe 12 bags of 25-pound rice. I have not seen a 50-pound bag of rice at Sam's Club in over a year now, probably. There was one in Clarksville where they did have some 50-pound bags of rice, but for the most part, you're going to find 25s. So go get 2 25-pound bags of rice and then figure out what it would take you to grow that much rice. You're not going to grow rice here. I mean, they do like in fucking Texas and Alabama and some places. Sure, they flood and grow rice. As a byproduct, they also grow crawfish in the same fields. When they drain, they go through and they pull out a lot of crawdads and they sell bags of crawfish. But here in Tennessee, on my property, I'm not growing rice. I'm also not growing wheat. And I can buy that shit. I can buy wheat or rice right now, put it in Mylar bags, put it in buckets, and 50 years from now when I'm dead, my relatives can still use that rice and that wheat. Just got rid of an above ground pool and found tons of crawfish. Just got rid of where were they? Above ground pool is something else for you guys too. Like if you want to store a massive volume of water, an above ground pool is a good way to do it. You can have a lot of water in there and you don't even have to use it. Like you could put fish in that motherfucker, have a pond, and you still got a ton of water that you can, run a downspout off the roof to top the pond off and then have another, piece coming out the side for overflow. And you can use that water. You could bail out of there with 5-gallon buckets and still water all your gardens. The big giant pond we put in the back was about water catchment. It wasn't about wildlife. The wildlife has just showed up. Is there a reason we go with Jasmine Rice? Yeah, it's just a little fancier. I don't care what kind of rice you go with. That was the 50-pound bags they had was Jasmine. So like we've bought hundreds of those bags. But I don't care what kinds you get. Do not get like brown rice. It's got a little more oil content to it. It'll go rancid.
And I'm talking about Willis, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive. Yeah.